Rome 313 as in and out. And move on in the log. We had Atlanta 532. Tom in Flowery Branch checked in and out. Next was Atlanta 11. John in Canton was in with us tonight. John, what would you like to share regarding your experiences getting friends and family involved in radio?
Hey, good evening, Net Control. This is Atlanta 11. I've been kind of tied up between walking the dogs, talking to a neighbor, and just got back in the house. So I probably not don't have too much to say about that. But speaking of that, I did mention the group to the neighbor, and his father used to be a ham, and he's has a grown son now. So he's maybe I'll get him a Baofeng radio and help him set up a license, and might have a new member down the road sometime. That's about all I have. It's been I was listening to the net on Zello for a little bit with the walk, and then back inside. So interesting net. A lot of good comments. Have a good evening. This is John, Atlanta 11 WRVG Clear.
All right, very good, John. Appreciate your comments, and thanks for checking in tonight.
Well, hey, before we let John go,
Oh, yeah.
did you? What did you think of the seminar today? And did you come away with that with anything to share with the group?
Well, and a side note, too, the YouTube live stream is back up, but it's back up as part 2 because it's a second stream. So those are listening, if they want to get back in on the live stream, you got to get back into the second one now.
You fixed it.
Yeah, I fixed it, but it's as part 2 now.
All right.
So go ahead, John. You got to fix your camera, too.
Hey, Justin, yeah, a good point. It was good to see you at the seminar as well. It was a good review. I liked it. It kind of brought me back to the days, I don't recall if it was the 70s or 80s, but we were putting in some microwave systems, and they were pretty, it was a 2 gig microwave system, and they sent us to California, of all places, Redwood City, for Harris Farron, and looking at the constellation patterns and so forth. I know I don't expect everybody to kind of talking about things that we're not talking about astronomy, but it was very interesting, a good review, and nice to be immersed in that for a day.
Yeah, I would agree, and a lot of it was review for me as well. And you know, a lot of that was very similar material to what we covered in the amateur extra studies. So a lot of that would pass over into that same field of knowledge. So not as much diagnostic and troubleshooting information as I was kind of hoping for, but nonetheless, it was well presented, and it was an interesting day. It was just a shame the railroad had so many things going on that I had to keep dealing with. But in any case, it got dealt with, and it was a good seminar. So it was cool seeing you there. All right, Mike, where are we at?
All right. Next up, we have Atlanta 710. Scott from Roswell is in with us tonight. Scott, what would you like to share with the net as far as getting other folks involved in radio?
Thanks to all there at Net Control. Actually checked in and out, but you piqued my curiosity. I feel like many, I think we all jumped in for some of the peace of mind in the initial days. Did a lot of listening, like a lot of other folks have mentioned. And as far as getting the family involved, of course, jumped in at Christmas time and gave them a few HTs to kind of play with. Of course, they realized real quick, keep it on simplex. I made it easy for them, pre-programmed, removed roger beats and all that kind of stuff, but a few canons in it, just so they could start listening in a little bit. And they realized real immediately they had the fear of the open public conversation. Let me break. To my surprise, I know the family members jumped right away and immediately figured out privacy zones, so they got the programming down quicker than I ever did. But overall, I guess the next phase is trying to involve family a little further, which, of course, giving them next some pre-programmed auto radios so they could, make it easy in the transition, and, of course, encourage the listening. Listening, I think, is where I know I learned a lot, just listening to smart guys like I hear here tonight. And then the family started picking up a little bit. But the biggest thing I found is that they don't always have the time to listen without a base station at home to have in the background or something like that. Time has been the biggest challenge, trying to get families a little bit more involved. Now, they have been doing the fifth-flex stuff, but I'd like to see them get a little further. That would come down to helping set up a base station and then them just spend a little time to figure it out a little deeper.
Yeah, good stuff. And I think one of the points that someone made earlier that we talked a little bit about is just making it easy, right? So when you get around to setting up that base station, if you can have the names of the repeaters on the screen, or just one repeater, if that's all that you need, and that's going to stay at a fixed base location, making it easy to just turn it on and talk, remove some of that intimidation. So. Good stuff, Scott. Sorry we missed your in and out, but glad you came back to us and jumped in and shared your thoughts. So thanks for checking in. Next in the log, we had Atlanta 4-4. Jim and Cumming was in and out. Atlanta 519. Gary from Marietta in and out tonight. And that'll bring us to chat 160. Dave in Chickamauga, who is in with us tonight. David, what would you like to share with the net? Questions and comments tonight about getting folks involved in radio?
Well, good evening, everybody on the net control. I tell everybody I want to make a shout-out to my buddy Stone that I work with. Programmed his Baofang for him, and he's actually listening to us right now. He's going to be applying for his GMRS license. He's got a couple friends. They do, I believe it's paintball, and they get together and they use the radios, and they want to get involved in GMRS. That's about all I got. Sitting here trying to set up my new ham clock. Back to you guys.
Oh, very cool. Well, you end up being the guy that people come to help get help with getting their radios programmed. So. Make it easy for them. Appreciate that.
The ham clock.
I was going to jump to that next.
Yeah, I got to know what the ham clock is.
Which
that tells you when it's time for a sandwich.
Is that a sandwich timer? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people talking about egg timers. Do we have a new kind of a ham timer going on now?
Yeah.
No. Basically, the ham clock is it's like a geochron. Just a little bit cheaper, a lot easier to use. It's made by Quatra. If you look up Quatra ham clock, and you put it up on the wall, you put your call sign in there, and it lets you know basically where the satellites are, what's going on, the Earth's atmospheric conditions. It was a pretty good price, too. The whole bundle was about $50. And you put it on a monitor, and it sits there, and you can use it. Might be able to tell you when to change your eggs, but other than that, back to you guys.
I'd say I don't believe an egg timer would work around here for a number of reasons. I break timeout timers, so I'd probably break the egg timer too.
He's not wrong.
Oh yeah, but while you're on the subject of accessories for ham, check out the Ham Shack hotline, and that's a cool little telephone system that is. It's not a phone that accesses public phone networks, but it is a phone that you can talk to other hams on. So check out Ham Shack hotline. That'll cost you another $50.
No, that's going to send me down a rabbit hole later tonight.
No, the rabbit hole's on Mondays.
Oh, that is Mondays.
Yeah, rabbit holes on Monday.
Weren't you paying attention during Kate's segment?
I was.
Hey, there's something that's going to be coming on the air real soon, in between every other rabbit hole.
But that would be for Melissa, not for you.
Every other? Or
every other in between.
Every other in between. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because that's not confusing at all.
Every other in between. Let's go to Atlanta 255
and first, folks.
Let's go to Atlanta 255 to hear about what the every other in between is going to be between the rabbit holes in between.
This is Atlanta 255 here, and I'm really not sure what to say to that, guys. I'm a little confused myself now. It's going to be June 3rd, though. Definitely going to be June 3rd. So as far as getting family members involved, let me break. My son decided to borrow the car tonight.
Uh-oh.
And before I would let him start it up and go, because there's a mobile in there, I gave him a mobile radio lesson. So he very patiently went through it, and he knows how to operate a mobile radio now. And this Saturday, I will be talking to my sister-in-law and offering her my extra Midland 275. So we'll see if she's interested. And I think that's all I have. Back to you, Net Control. Looking forward to June 3rd.
You gonna jump on?
Well, that's awesome, and that's a great way to get people involved in radio. Is, you know, we all have these starter radios that we've radios that we bought early that we didn't know what to do with, or we outgrew them. We upgraded into a better radio, and so that the old radio ends up sitting on a shelf, and we don't do anything with it anymore. And so a great use for those older radios is to give them to someone that we'd like to encourage to get involved, because oftentimes, just listening to the radio for a day or so, or listening to some of the net programs, probably not this one, but listening to some of the nets will pique people's interest and make them want to get more involved, and it kind of shows, it illustrates the connectivity that we can have over the air, and sometimes, probably not tonight, but most of the time is more reliable than cellular systems.
It's true.
Just not tonight.
Well, do you still have that picture up?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
So for those of you that were asking what internet has to do with it, this is everything that we had to get reset and rebooted when the internet finally came back. So that's why it took us a few minutes. There's not just a push to talk button. There's a lot going on here, so your live stream viewers can see my chair and all the controls that had to be rebooted once we got internet back.
That's right. There's a lot of buttons there.
So there's a keyboard, but in front of that keyboard or behind that keyboard, depending on your perspective, is another keyboard with the white and the red and the green, and there must be 100 buttons on that keyboard. Do you know what they all do?
Yeah, I do actually. It's just a matter of pushing them at the right times.
The timing is a thing. That's for sure. Apparently, you got to put those quarters in at the right time too.
Yeah, but those buttons mean nothing if you don't have internet for the live stream.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, cool stuff.
Now, if you're watching the live stream, and get a little peek behind the scenes.
All right, Mike. Who's next?
Well, we will keep rolling. Thank you for comments, Jennifer. Next on the log was Dallas 6'4". Josh in Dallas was in and out. CW40 Robert Nicholson was in and out. Dallas 6'9". Brett in Hiram in and out. Atlanta 849 Pamela, we heard you come back that you will be in and out as well. And we've also got Ernest. Atlanta 848 is in and out. Atlanta 170, Dalton in Cartersville was in and out. And that'll bring us to Atlanta 263, Rogers in Dunwoody. We've got you in tonight. And we'll take any questions or comments that you have regarding getting your friends or family involved in radio.
Yes, I was about to go, but I think I heard Pam said that she's here. I think she doubled as you were going. So 249, are you there? Okay, I'll go ahead and go. So yeah, I've been introducing radio to my friends. I found out that if I start to talk too technical, you know, if you start talking about, you know, the GMRS license and antennas and different things like that, you know, people tend to not really kind of follow that. But I try to keep it simple and say that it's, you know, a nice way to keep in touch. And definitely when the phones went out recently, I had a lot of friends and family who were, you know, more interested in the radio at that point and had questions. So I think it's just a matter of, you know, keep talking to people, and letting them know about the network, letting them know the importance of having an alternate way of communication.
You know, I think you make a great point, Rogers, as far as a practical use. So radio, for some of us, can be a technical hobby. We study, we learn about antennas and propagation, and we make it technical. But for others, and this makes it a little bit easier to get into, you make it practical in terms that they understand. Everybody remembers when the AT&T towers were down, well, a month or so ago, a month and a half ago.
It was a scheduled outage.
Which time?
Exactly. We can all remember when communication goes out, and that makes it very real for folks that might just need to call home to check in, or might need to call something for work related, and you can't do that. So that's a real application that folks can easily understand.
Well, and I think, you know, we did have the interruption tonight, but you know, the reality is that the net is not a critical communications mode. This is something that we do because we enjoy it. It's an opportunity for us to hang out together and to talk about various things, but this is not critical communications.
Well, it's way overcomplicated for a critical communication situation. You know, with the live stream and everything going on.
Oh yeah, we've ruined the simple radio net forever.
Right. So we were going
back.
We were going to our backup plan, being the Tiki Bar, to actually get back on RF. That was the brief pause, but
yeah, I believe I heard Dana even make mention that well, they're probably going to go. Well, he was right. That's exactly what was.
We were packing up.
But my point is that the more important thing is knowing what your simplex performance and coverage and expectations are, because in the event that there's a cell phone outage that's large spread, there's a pretty good chance that's going to include a network outage. A lot of times those things kind of go hand in hand. They ride on the same backhaul, and so depending on what portions of the network are in trouble may determine whether or not the network is also down or the phones are down because the network is down. So there's a lot of dependencies and interdependencies that come into play there. But there are no dependencies when you're talking directly from your backyard to your neighbor's backyard with your handy-talkie and his handy-talkie and simplex.
That's right.
There are no dependencies. It doesn't matter what kind of battery backup there is at the repeater, because you're not using the repeater, you're talking directly. And that is the backup plan. That is the emergency communications. And that's why it's important that we get our neighbors and our friends involved, so that when these things do happen, because I mean, that's great if you and your family are on the air and your kids know how to use a radio and your spouse knows how to use a radio, but there you are on one campus, and what if there's a needed resource that you don't have right there? And what if somebody has an abundance of a resource, but it may not be safe, there may not be, it may not be welcome. You may need to ask permission. And how do you do that? You don't want to show up with a bunch of buckets for hauling water if you're not welcome to be there. You need to have permission first. Let's break. So, the point is that we do rely on the internet for some of the functions that we use, but the critical nature of our communications is really not dependent on those elements. Those dependencies are conveniences, but in the light of a real emergency, why would you need to be able to talk to somebody from Woodstock if you're in Knoxville? Or why would you want to talk to somebody in Blue Ridge if you're in Marietta? The resources that you require are probably available much, much closer. And so these are the things that we need to kind of keep in mind when we're practicing our simplex operations on Friday night. When will the next simplex challenge be coming up? I wonder if 250 can tell us about
I think it's
when the next simplex challenge is.
Great plug for the Friday night challenge. I think it's this time tomorrow. Let's see if 250 will come back to us.
Goodbye time, guys.
Yes, I am still here, and you are very correct. Tomorrow night on the Ball Ground Repeater, early check-ins, 8:30 p.m. We'll start the process, and tomorrow night's topic will be getting back to basics. We're going to be trying all frequencies and channels and see what happens. So look forward to hearing everybody there, and back to you.
Dana, we've got some new folks and some guests joining, at least on the YouTube stream, and I presume probably some listening on the radio. When you say on the Ball Ground Repeater, and this is a simplex challenge or simplex exercise, can you tell folks what you mean by that, just so they understand what to do?
Well, we all know simplex is frequencies not dependent on, it's radio to radio. It has nothing to do with using a repeater. What we do use the Ball Ground Repeater for is a meeting place and a platform. We start our process, our early check-ins, then we'll decide on a frequency to go to. We'll test that frequency for 4 or 5 minutes. Then we'll return to the Ball Ground Repeater to have a brief discussion and see what successes or failures were had. And then we will repeat that process again. So that is pretty much what the Ball Ground Repeater is used for.
Excellent. Appreciate you providing that clarification. If you're like me, up in Blue Ridge, where you can't reach the ball ground repeater from wherever you might be.
Can't even say it.
I can't even talk.
Well, he's so used to saying free salad. Now he's got to actually say where it really is.
I have to think about the proper name, yeah. What we do, or what I have done in the past, is just call out on simplex frequencies, channel 19. So I know that even though I can't get into ball ground, maybe somebody is listening within range of me and monitoring on channel 19, and maybe I can strike up a simplex conversation or find who my simplex neighbors are. So another viable option for you if you're trying to figure out who's within your proximity. All right.
I believe that was the actual original theory behind this simplex challenge was 19 at 9, was it not?
Yeah, that's right. So Dana's just organized it and put structure to it more than that now. So.
Well, then he's got fancy graphics, and
he does.
He's got a co-host.
Did you see the Death Star today?
No, I did not. I'll have to go check that out.
The Death Star is great.
You'll have to go look at the Death Star.
Yeah. So, and I think that the 19 at 9 is a solid concept, and it's a great starting point. But there's some technical reasons why that's not a satisfactory thing to do in this RF environment. So
yeah,
and that's why that North Georgia GMRS has kind of migrated away from 19 at 9, and we just the simplex challenge is still born from that, but it really is an adaptation based on the RF environment that we have here. So
yeah. All right.
Well, Dana wasn't at that point on the list, but did we need to go find Pamela?
We can give her a call. I think Rogers mentioned that she might have tried to get back in. Why don't we see if she's listening? Atlanta 849, are you with us?
Yes, gentlemen, it's Annette. I am here. I appreciate you letting me have a still popped in. A little bit of things going on here tonight.
Okay. Well, glad we reached back out to you. What would you like to share? Questions or comments regarding getting friends and family involved in radio?
Well, I'm constantly talking to people about it, and a lot of them are shy because a lot of them are ladies. But just so happens I recently spoke to an uncle of mine, and he happens to be like 35 miles from the Ocala repeater in Central Florida area, and has an old walkie-talkie radio that he used to use, and is interested in maybe getting in with the North Georgia GMRS. However, he's going to be leaving in mid-June to go up to Jersey for the summer, and is going to check in and maybe find out about doing the Zello or becoming a member.
All right, very good. Well, before he heads out, yeah, send him to the website and get a membership. Zello's reserved for our members, so that would be a way to get in, though, while in New Jersey. Did you have any other questions or thoughts for the net tonight, Pamela?
Yes, I don't know if some of you are aware, if it's all right. My mom passed away this past Monday, and I will be at the setup for the funeral tomorrow in Marietta. But I will be speaking to a lot of cousins and nephews and try to also get them interested in the radio, becoming members also. So one of the cousins is the daughter of Uncle Mike that will be looking at joining us. So I'm hoping that'll work out and get the others in also. And a good idea for the net. And I'm also looking forward to the ladies' net that's going to be coming up, because I did sort of mention that when we were doing the barbecue, so I'm glad that they were able to get something going. And I appreciate you letting me come back, and we'll enjoy the rest of the net.
All right, Pamela. Well, certainly our thoughts are with you this week at the funeral for your mother, and yeah, we'll be thinking about you. All right, let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. Next in the log was Atlanta 933, Dwayne from Canton, who was in and out. Dallas 16, Michael from Dallas, also in and out. Then we had a few YouTube check-ins. The first was WSCS492, Ari from Toccoa, joining us on the live stream tonight. Then we had Cades Cove 82, Jenny from Rockwood was in and out. Atlanta 20, Michael from Cartersville on YouTube, in and out. Rome 27, Terry from Menlo, also joining on YouTube, was in and out. Next we heard Larry, a guest all the way from Colorado, WRWB802. Atlanta 557, Ed from the beautiful metropolis of Kennesaw, just down the road, was in and out on YouTube. Atlanta 102, James from Cumming, also YouTube check-in. Chattanooga 138, Dustin from Rossville, was a YouTube check-in. Chattanooga 49, Robert from Dalton, joining us on the YouTube live stream as well. That'll bring us to Atlanta 795, Blair. We checked in with Blair earlier. Should we give him a call again?
Yeah, let's see if Blair has any comments for the net with regard to friends and family and radio communications.
All right. Well, Blair may have signed off for the evening. That's all right. Glad we got to talk to him earlier. Next, we had Chattanooga 127. Larry from Chatsworth was in and out tonight. Next, we heard Atlanta 964. Richard from Duluth was in and out. Gainesville 76. John from Gainesville. We heard you in and out. And next was Toccoa 44. Alan from Cashiers, North Carolina, checking in and out. Next, we heard Atlanta 770. James from Ackworth. Actually, we didn't hear from James. He was checking in on YouTube, so we've got you in the log. Next was CW5, Cindy from Comer, and CW4, Derek, also from Comer. They were in and out tonight. And that'll bring us to Atlanta 810. You've got a note here. In and out, in and out, in and out burger.
He doesn't know. Just call on him.
All right. Atlanta 810. We've got you checked in. What would you like to share with the net tonight?
Well, that's all the time we have for What a Dude.
For What a Dude.
Let's move him to the bottom of the roster and see if
maybe we can get him later.
See if we can get him after our final round of check-ins, etc. And go ahead and continue on.
After What a Dude, we had WSBR 809, Heather from, well, I don't remember where she was from, but she's visiting family in Marietta. She checked in and out and was also tuned in on the live stream. Next, we had I don't remember if this was a YouTube check-in or an RF check-in, but WSCT957. I didn't get a name for that, but that was from this person was from Canton, Georgia. Next was Chattanooga 30. Jonathan and Hickson was in and out. And then Chattanooga 121. Mark from Uldawa was in and out. Then we had a string of YouTube check-ins, and I think I've got them all here, so I'll run through them. We had Thomas from Cave Spring, WRCK509. Next we had Chattanooga 19, Jack from Chattanooga, joining us on YouTube. Then CW8, Robert from Colbert, listening on YouTube. Atlanta 14, Jeremy from Woodstock was on YouTube. And then we had another guest, Tom from Toccoa, looking at becoming a member. Tom, we hope you do. Call sign WSCT633. Thanks for tuning in on the YouTube stream. Also on YouTube, we had Blue Ridge 64, Melissa from Blue Ridge. We've got you in the log. Gainesville 54, Kevin from Gainesville, monitoring on YouTube. And then we had Gene from Phoenix, Arizona. WRJZ896 as a YouTube check-in. Gene, thanks for joining the net tonight. And that'll
hold on.
Oh,
you made an oopsie.
Did I make an oopsie?
Jack Chattanooga 19 is a Zello check-in. He's in the YouTube live stream, but he did want to participate.
Oh, well, let's go back to Chattanooga 19. Jack, sorry about that. I see you in the stream. And looks like you want to catch up on Zello, so we'll turn it over to you, Jack. Any questions you have or comments about sharing radio with friends and family?
Oh, Justin, I think I'm going to take that personally. I'm just kidding. Good evening, Net Control. Hope y'all are doing well. It's a beautiful night compared to yesterday. As far as getting involved with your family and friends involved, we'll give a quick shout out to Chat 160, Chattanooga 84, and Chattanooga 69, who did just that for me on both the GMRS side and now recently the ham side.
Okay.
I know it's the guys that are hams or get involved with hams are very, very good in teaching. They have a more technical understanding of what RF is and how it works. That's why I went and got my ham license. Just last week, I got a call sign a couple days ago. I'm getting my father involved. He likes to go fishing in kind of remote areas in West, Middle, and East Tennessee. And everywhere he's gone, I've gone on mygmrs.org. Of course, let me break for aircraft passing over.
I break for airplanes?
We don't even break for Mustangs.
Well,
I used, like I said, Julie's tips, mygmrs.com or mygmrs.org, the repeater map, and every single lake or body of water he goes to has a repeater near it. So I've encouraged him to get his GMRS license, and I'm going to program his stuff into his radio just so if he has some way to get some emergency help if he needs it through repeater traffic. And, it's always just a good tool to have. Radio's a skill, and if you look at every situation when you go on trips and stuff, it's useful. Good two-way radio communications. Send it back to net control.
He had a lot of good points there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Like braking for aircrafts. You didn't want to crash into one.
Yeah, you should always brake for airplanes.
You should.
Yeah. But, one point that he made that we've touched on before, but I think is worth going over again. In a marine environment, the first thing we think of is a marine radio.
Mm.
Well, there's some interesting rules around marine radio. And, if you're a boater and you're operating in waters with a lot of other boaters, then a marine radio is probably a good thing to have. But I don't know that it's always the right tool, because with a marine radio, you can use that to talk to other vessels, but you cannot use that to talk to a shore party. So if you're on the lake and you're having trouble, you can call out for emergency services. You can call out to towboat, and you can call out to any other boaters that are out there. But if you just want to be able to get some help from somebody that's on shore, or if you just want to organize and coordinate activities with somebody on shore, you can do that in GMRS radio. And radios work great on the water, but you can't do that in VHF marine radio. You can't coordinate with your shore party.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
So GMRS is a win in that scenario. And a lot of times, who is the shore party when you're on a boat? Most often it's friends and family.
That's right.
So, there's just a natural fit there. So in those applications, I think that GMRS wins. If we were on the coast and you were going out on the ocean, GMRS might be a good play there too, but I would certainly want the marine radio in addition. But out on the lakes of North Georgia and Tennessee, I think GMRS is the win when it comes to communications on the water.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point.
And I have to, and I don't know if he's listening tonight, but we used to very often hear Atlanta 516. Ray would comment that he was monitoring from the top of Lake Allatoona.
Better than the bottom. And
I would always remind him that that's better than the bottom. So, yeah, he would always park on the north end. I think there was a parking lot that he could sit at and watch wildlife on the lake, and he liked to take pictures. And so he would park there and call out that he's monitoring from the top of the lake. That's what I had.
That's good. That's good. We've got a comment in the live stream saying, and I forget the call sign that this is associated with, but one of our viewers says, around the freshwater lakes, around Hartwell and Lanier, marine radio isn't monitored as much, and it's nice to have backup radios. And I think GMRS, exactly your point, make for a great backup to the marine environment as well. So,
well, the interesting part about marine radios, we should break. I had a friend of mine who had a boat, and he informed me that specifically Altoona and Lanier, if you have a marine radio on your boat, they require you to monitor it.
That's right. That is a rule.
So if people are carrying on and having conversations that you have no interest in, you legally can't shut it off. You have to listen to it.
Mm.
So to the viewer's point of some people not having those radios in their boat, I could see that, but I don't want to hear that nuisance if I'm out on the lake with my friends.
Yeah.
So I can see pros and cons to each way.
Yeah, and so that's it's one of those rules that's I don't know how you would ever enforce it.
Yeah, I don't either, but I know that is the rule.
But we in radio we do tend to follow the rules as best we can and understand, and that requirement that if you have a radio, it has to work and it has to be on, and you have to listen for any traffic. So I think it's Marine 16 is the equivalent to CB 19 and GMRS 19, and that channel can get ridiculous in various bodies of water. But I believe, like in Lake Allatoona and Lake Lanier, it's not really very well used. So I don't know what the expectation is on the other marine channels, but that was one of the reasons when we had our boats that we chose not to install marine radios and use GMRS radios instead.
Yeah.
And you could have an HT in the boat, and if it was a particularly inexpensive HT in a boat, you really didn't have to worry about it being damaged.
Or being out of the boat.
Right. and conveniently enough, those inexpensive HTs are remarkably water resistant, and will come back to life after having taken a bath. So that's also very interesting. So, I mean, they don't really work when they're wet, but when they dry out, they come back to life. So, I don't know about all the radios, but the ones that I've taken swimming seem to have come out of it okay.
They came back.
Yeah.
All right, we need to rewind in the log just a few places. I've got Cameron, who's a guest, checking in with us from Canton tonight. We got him on YouTube, and he reports that he's now got his radio and wants to check in with us. So it's WSCT 957. I think I got that right. Cameron from Canton.
Excellent.
Let's see what you have to say. We'll call out to you, and you can share with us your thoughts on friends and family and radio.
Hey guys, thanks for checking in. I got introduced to y'all from Dallas 16. I'm gonna take a break. So my family, unfortunately, isn't really interested in the GMRS. So pretty much just me. I got my wife, I got my kids, and funny thing is that Dallas 16 got me into this. I've been really pushing to try to get more members involved with you guys as well. Where I work, we kind of do the off-road scene and everything down in Douglasville, JKN. We do a lot of good stuff.
All right, we lost you there, Cameron. If you can go back to wherever you were standing when you first started talking, we had a good copy on you there. But I believe you were walking around with your HT, and you walked right out of coverage into the mist and snow and static of Neverland. So if you can come back to a good spot, like perhaps the one you were in when you first began, we should be able to pick you up.
Just checking. Can you guys hear me now?
Just like the Verizon guy.
So I don't know what you guys heard or not, but basically I got introduced to the GMRS, like the North Georgia GMRS from Dallas 16. Kind of getting involved with maybe getting a mobile pretty soon. He and I work at an off-road shop, so we're trying to get kind of more familiar with that when it comes to the GMRS. Dallas 16 knows a lot more than I do, but it's pretty cool being able to talk to customers and letting them know about what you guys do as well. So, but I really appreciate you guys, and I like what you guys do, and like I said, I'm going to try to get my membership pretty soon. I've been working on that.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, and you know, I understand. I've talked with Dallas 16, and I think there could be some really interesting potential there. And I don't know if you guys are interested in doing the radio installs, but I know that the question keeps coming up on the Facebook page is, where do I get a radio installed in my vehicle?
Mm.
And I know that you guys are at an off-road shop, so installing a radio in a Jeep is a lot different than installing a radio in your wife's car, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So the requirements for installing a radio in a Jeep are one thing, and there's a lot of great custom accessories available for installing anything, anywhere, in any Jeep. And those custom accessories aren't necessarily available for a Hyundai.
That's correct.
But nonetheless, if you guys are able to do radio installs, Dallas 16 and yourself, that's something you should make a Facebook post, make folks aware of, and I think you'll probably get pretty busy with that work. And understand you guys are also avid off-road enthusiasts, so I just want to throw this out there for some food for thought. North Georgia GMRS will most likely, we haven't got all the answers to all the questions yet, but we're working toward participation in the annual Sheriff's Jeep Fest in Pickens County, and that'd be cool if you guys could come up and hang out with us for that. So something to think about. But glad to have you on the air tonight, Cameron. And
for his reference, if he wants to go back and watch around the 42-minute mark in the live stream.
Well, for part 2?
Of part 2, you'll notice where you came in good and strong, and then you'll hear your signal degrade as you were walking around, and then how strong it was when you came back to that spot. So just for radio knowledge, if you wanted to go back and listen to that portion and see how much of a difference it makes with an HT when you're moving versus when you stand still.
So yeah, and that's a great experience to gain that kind of knowledge too, and to be able to go back to the live stream and watch it firsthand. You'll know just what it is, and you'll probably remember the steps that you were taking as you hear that signal fade out. So go ahead and give that a watch. And besides, it helps our view time.
I think he is already on the live stream.
Well, he already is, but he's going to have to rewind.
So
there
that
you
was
go.
the what, 42
minutes.
42-minute mark.
All right.
All right, let's get to a couple more acknowledgments in the log. Next, we had a YouTube check-in from Robert in Chatsworth, WSCE395. I think also a guest joining us on the live stream tonight. And then Atlanta 102, Jim incoming.
I bet you that was the one we couldn't hear earlier.
It might have been. Let me know that he wants to make a comment. So, Jim, Atlanta 102, we'll go to you now.
This is Atlanta 102. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Just fine. Coming in loud and clear, Jim.
I've only been doing GRMS for about 2.5 months, and I've loved listening to this net and finding like-minded people to talk to and everything. And because of that, I will be getting the UV 5Gs for my other family members who live close by, or even the ones that live far away, to kind of get them into the hobby. I think it's important to make sure that people can get simplex connections and pass information around if it's needed, just in case of some bad sun, flare or something like that. So just love the hobby, and that's going to be a Christmas gift, and hopefully they'll get into it this year and help the hobby spread. And that's all I have. Thank you for listening.
Oh, very good, Jim. Well, thank you for checking in, and it sounds like a good Christmas gift, and hopefully they get excited to join you on the air. I think learning how far you can reach on simplex with the handy talkies will be. I think it's fun. I don't know. You think it's fun? Range tests.
For me, with a handy talkie, it's about to the end of my road. And
Yeah.
you're in a similar boat with that too.
I am. I can get around down the street and around the corner. That's about as far as an HT
or your
will
kid
get
on
me.
the lawnmower.
Yeah. That's about as far as we'll go down in this little bowl. All right, Jim. Thanks for checking in. What do you think we check in with What a Nerd one more time? See if.
Well, I understand that he is dealing with some issues at home, so he's not going to be available.
Okay. Well, we will note that in the log, and we'll catch up with John another time.
All right. So
that'll bring us to the end of the log.
It will. But while we're on the subject of What a Nerd, I just wanted to remind folks that Saturday, is that May 11?
Yes, I believe so.
Saturday, May 11 will be the final Kids Net for this season. So we'd encourage everyone to get your children involved and participate in the net Saturday evening at, is it 7:30?
We can double check that. Mike can pull it up. But I would like to clarify for the season, meaning the summer. They hope to be back on the air for back to school time. What was it, August or September?
Yeah, something like that. So the deal is that they're about to have their third child, and so they're going to take some time off, as they should, to welcome their third son into the world and have some personal time devoted to that. And they're just taking a break from the Kids Net for the summer. So as soon as they're able to return, we'll make posts and we'll make announcements to that effect. But for the interim, since this is going to be the last one for a while, I definitely want to encourage all of you to get your children involved this Saturday evening. It's a great opportunity to share the magic of radio with our youngest family members. It's perfectly okay to be on the air with them, hold the microphone for them, coach them as to what to say. If they're bigger kids and they can do all that on their own, that's great. If they're big kids and they want to participate, that's also fine. 18 and under is the expectation. And of course, if you're over 18 and you have a small child, come on the air with the child and just go through the motions with the child in your lap or whatever. And if they can say a few words or utter a few sounds, whatever that might be, let that be an experience and an opportunity for the children to enjoy radio.
That'll be a win, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's really what the focus of that program is for the children to have the opportunity to get a taste of what we enjoy so much. So, highly encourage everyone to participate Saturday if you're able. And
we did get an update. It's 7 p.m. is the check-ins for that.
7 p.m. Okay. So, so Saturday 7 p.m. For the last of the Youth Net, Kids Net for the season. They'll be back once they get things back to whatever normal is.
That's right. That's right.
All right. I think it's time now for a final round of check-ins.
Let's do that.
All right. So we'll take one final round of check-ins. Any questions or comments? The floor is open. Net Control standing by. Somebody's got the button down. It's not me.
Oh, sorry. That was me. That was me.
The program director holding up the program.
Whoops.
I still hear that ring, but only once in a while.
Yeah. I think the ring is coming from down here, and it might be right here.
Is that?
Check 1 2. Check. The whole thing just seems a little loud tonight, but I like it like this.
I like it,
but I don't like the ring.
I like it loud, but I don't like the ring.
Yeah. And I think we cranked it up
because
of the AC. Check. Let's see if that changes the ring. It might have been that it's lower than it typically is, but I wonder if it's being fed hotter.
Maybe so, because you were over here turning buttons and pushing things.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
I need to put a padlock over here so you can't touch anything.
Well, I guess maybe we should have put a cover on that thing so the chair couldn't kill it. All right.
I guess nobody wants to talk to us.
There's a comment that says, didn't hear his last. I don't know what that means, but...
Okay, so if we didn't hear the last thing I said, the last thing I said was that we were going to stand by for any late check-ins from any repeater anywhere or any questions or comments. We were pausing, waiting for any Zello check-ins or comments to come, but it could be that we timed out and we weren't heard. So we're just going to go through all that again before we bow out of here. So one last time for late check-ins. Any questions or comments? The floor is open. Net Control, standing by.
McDonough 22 has an additional comment when you have time.
All right. I bet they didn't hear us.
I think you might have timed out.
They probably thought that we dropped off the air again. All right, McDonough 22, we're going to go ahead to your comment, and it looks like we've got all the check-ins we're going to get. So, and that's okay. We're in a good spot, and I'm curious to see what Tim has for us. Go ahead, Tim.
Okay, I was just thinking further, and this is not just for the ladies, it's for anybody with, mic shyness or mic fright, if you want to call it that, however you want to look at it. But when I first came on the North Georgia GMRS system about 5 years ago, I think it's been now, maybe a little bit more, it had been like 30 or more years since I had talked on CB radio. I was big into CB radio back in the 70s, and I wasn't a ham at the time. And so I got my license, and I got on, became a member of but after I got my radio programmed and everything, I wanted to talk to people, but I kind of said, like, well, what am I going to say? What do I talk to these people about? I don't know these people, and I really, I'm okay once I know people, once I get in a crowd of people, but just to talk to strangers has never been, my forte, so to speak. Let me take a break.
You're hearing ringing? I think I am too.
So I just encourage people, just call out for a radio check, or just if you hear somebody say so-and-so, when I'm monitoring, just get on the radio and say hello. You don't have to talk for, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's actually preferred that you don't have long conversations anyway. I try to keep mine brief and under, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes anyway. Generally speaking, but just don't be afraid to just call out for somebody. You don't have to have a topic to talk to them about. You don't have to really know anything about their life. Just say, I just heard you on the radio and just wanted to say hello. I'm new and just getting the hang of this thing and just wanted to say hello to somebody. And chances are they'll talk your ears off. I mean, generally speaking, most of the people that are on the radio here love talking on the radio, and you will never run out of something to talk about, trust me, because the people will have something to say, and they'll have something to talk to you about, and you will be welcomed and made to feel welcome and happy that you picked up that microphone and talked. So just do it. Just pick up that microphone and start talking, and that's my message. Back to Net Control.
Well, that's good stuff, Tim, and great advice in terms of if you're new and you don't know how to break the ice, just do it. Just come on the air with your TAC number and your call sign. And if you're not a member, you're welcome to use the network to make sure that you can get in and make a couple of radio checks. So it's kind of, how do you know that this is for you? What if you become a member but you live at a place where you can't reach any repeaters? We want you to be able to enjoy the network, and we're not really structured in a way that kind of allows for us to do refunds on membership. So we want you to be confident in becoming a member when you become a member. So as a guest, come on, make a couple of radio calls, check into a few nets. You don't have to be a member to participate in our nets. And once you know that the system is going to work well for you, then become the member that will support this network and help it to grow. So good words, Tim. Thanks for that. And with that, I think we're right here at the point where it's time for me to say, This concludes the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight we had a total of
82
chickens, including myself. Net Control will now be returning the repeaters back to normal use. Everyone who signed in should sign out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, comments in the YouTube videos show engagement with the video and help the channel grow. Thank you for allowing us to serve as your Net Control this evening. Good night, everyone. This is Atlanta 946 WQIR 514. My name is Justin.
And I am WRWM 344 Blue Ridge 63. My name is Mike.
And Atlanta 750 WRMR 367. My name is Jeff.
We are North Georgia GMRS Network.
And we are clear. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
WRWM 256, Atlanta 256. This is RWK95, Atlanta 250. I'll be clear than that and off there. Good night, folks. WRIT